Okay, now
right.
hit okay.
Marcello,
Okay.
how are you today? We welcome to everybody to our CHWE call today. Today we're working with some lovely folks. We are talking to Marcello today, and we're talking to Kisha Beth, and we're talking to Kareen. We're going to start today with Marcello. Marcello, how are you today, sir?
Very good, very good. Thank you for
Good.
inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here with old friends that I see. You know, it's nice.
That's great. That's great. So, you have a presentation. Would you like me to get it up?
Yes, please.
All
Yes, please.
righty. And so basically, I've sent you the questions already, but you kind of, I
Yeah.
know in your brief, you've gone over a lot of what it is, but of course, you're going to be explaining it. So I'm planning to let you go, and I'll keep
Okay.
you time. How's that? All right.
Yeah, I will tell you when to switch a slide. Okay, is that okay?
Oh, I know you will. I know you will.
Okay, thank you
Just
very
a minute.
much.
Let me just.
Mhm.
Can you guys see the? Yes, here we go. All right.
I
All
don't see
right.
it.
You don't
It's
see it?
No.
it's coming. It's like it says it started. There we go.
Okay, yes.
There we go. There it
Okay,
is.
great. Fantastic. Fantastic. So thank you very much. I was asked to answer who am I and what do I do and how far I am in this project in the global health and wellness of Earth. Yeah. And I thought appropriate from a marketing point of view to share a little bit of facts and for you resources in case you want to use them for your business plan. And then can we go to the next slide, please?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, you just have to scroll down. That's all. It's in
I
PDF.
did. I did.
Okay, so the agenda is who am I? I'm a marketing professional and healer. What do I do? I'm a marketing co-creator for holistic health. And I'm going to give you now, in the next 10 minutes, a global wellness market overview and point out where I see a very big opportunity for us. Next slide, please. Okay. What is my mission? Is to facilitate the coming of a thriving Earth. Essentially, I've been in marketing for 30 years, 20 years in corporate, IBM, Bosch, and I did the startup here of Dell, and I did also here in Berlin a few startups. So in order to balance manage, I always did Tai Chi, Qigong, and the last 3 years I certified myself in traditional Chinese medicine. Essentially, I have become a marketing guy specialized in the holistic health industry. Next slide, please. Now we're going to go and look at some statistics here. This is a global view from the Global Wellness Institute out of Florida, which is a very good resource for you. Can you make it a little smaller? Yeah. And it shows essentially that North America is like, in terms of percentage of GDP, is like 6.4, if I read correctly. I can't read. Let me look at my, it's at 6.7% of GDP in terms of
sorry,
wellness
I'm trying to make
spending.
it bigger. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And Europe is at, let's say, on average, a 5.5, between 5.1 and 5.5%. Okay, and then the other regions, less and less and less. Next chart, please. So we have here the spending, which is incredible. When I saw this chart, especially North America, the United States mainly, is on a league on its own because it's figures $9.4557 million there versus Europe is much less. So what this tells you is that if you want to be in the wellness market industry, if you are not in the United States, you're not going to get a major market share or have an impact in the globe, essentially. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is a very, very interesting chart because it tells you essentially the breakdown of the wellness industry per in the economies. And you could see the United States, which is the first in the light blue there, that is more or less aligned with Australia, United Kingdom, and Canada. But look at the Seychelles, the Maldives, and Aruba. Aruba, 77% of the economy of Aruba is in the wellness industry. In the Seychelles, is close to 90%. It's unbelievable. So, I mean, probably we are looking at in these locations are the wellness economy of the future, because they are already close to 100% a wellness economy point. Next chart, please. Here is a breakdown when consultancy globally, they look essentially at 11 sectors in the wellness industry. So you have the personal care, the health and eating, the wellness and tourism, the physical activity, the public health, the traditional component medicine, the wellness, real estate, spas, mental wellness, thermal and workplace wellness. Okay, next chart, please. Here, this chart literally made me think for days on end, because it is the essence of the challenge that the is allopathic medicine versus natural medicine in essence. But I just want to tell you the incredible power of two words: clinically tested. Clinically tested scores 60%. This is the axis, the first one. You see, the first one is 60%, and the second one is 12%. That means that if you put a little package on the counter and you tell the people one has clinically tested, the other one is bio, or the clinically tested will win 60% of the time. And it will win 60% of the time versus 20% on the vitamins, 47% of the time, 52% of the time, and 41% of the time. That means that that clinically tested is so powerful. So I'm looking for the counterpart of that clinically tested. There's got to be, because that clinically tested is so powerful. If from a marketing point of view, I haven't solved the problem. Next chart, please. Excuse me. And what is very, very important about the previous chart is that in the spending globally in these categories, the Generation Z is, and the millennials are completely different profile of the previous generation. They are spending a lot more on wellness than the previous generations. Next chart, please. So what is the challenge here? I mean, we have globally 1 in 5 employees who display symptoms of burnout, according to the McKinsey study. McKinsey itself is saying to go behind burnout, we need to move forward with a holistic health framework that takes into consideration the physical, mental, social, and spiritual health of the person. I have never seen these words before in major publications. So we are really at a turning point here, because I've never seen this prior. The next chart, please. Next up, yeah. 91% of employees will increase investments in mental health this year. Okay, shifting from traditional physical health to more holistic, flexible, and personalized programs, according to Wellable. Next chart, please. Okay, so, and this is incredible, a PwC study on Generation Z and millennials. They found that 56% of Generation Z will not stay in a company unless the goals and values of the brand and the company are in line with their own. So we really have to thank them, because they're bringing a lot of innovation in the workplace. And so we need to, the conclusion of this study of PwC, which is recent, out of Hong Kong, says that the value employer and the organization culture, management style, and approach needs to be changed, including recruitment and retention, to attract these younger generations. Next chart, please. And so what is the opportunity gap here? The opportunity gap is that in 2024, these are companies, okay? Companies, big spending, not insured patients. This is where the money is, okay? In 2024, the majority of respondents anticipate greater investments in mental health solutions, 91%, stress management and resilience tools, 66%, telemedicine, 65%, mindful and meditation programs, 55%, and lifestyle spending for 52%. We see an increase in mental health and a decrease in mindful and and meditation programs in these studies. Alone, the United States, the market, it will go from 61 billion to 85 billion until 2030. These are in this corporate market. Yeah. Next chart, please. Yeah. So the opportunity here is huge, because I mean this is a global shift in paradigm shift in management, in the way organizations are run. So how do we shift from traditional to holistic management that McKinsey and these uh, important consultancy company are advocating now, including the physical, mental, social, and spiritual health of the person? This is what they are now consulting their clients on. So in my opinion, we need to rethink brand, culture, management style and approach, recruitment and retention approaches, while on this planet of energy. We have here the opportunity to co-create a new frontier, changing for the better the life of millions. The last chart, please.
Mhm.
So I thank you, and with joy and gratitude, I thank you for this opportunity, and I think I stayed within the minutes, right, Liz? Did
Oh,
I
you
do it?
sure did. You sure did. I
Okay,
have some
very
questions
good.
for you.
Okay, very
Marcello,
good.
thank you so much. That was brilliant and speedily done. I appreciate it. I love all those numbers. I was going to ask you, first of all, quickly, what does PwC stand for?
Price Waterhouse and Coopers. They
Okay,
changed the
gotcha.
brand from Price Waterhouse and Coopers after the acquisition of IBM, and they
Okay,
became
thank you.
PwC.
Thank you,
They
thank
are,
you. Yes, I love it. And let's say people at CARE, at CHWE are interested in help developing their business. How do you see helping them with actionable items? How would you help them?
That's a very good question. I start generally with first day, 5 hours I start with a brand. I really start with the brand, because if we understand the brand personality right away, and the why, how, and what of you have to operate it, that is a very good starting point, because it becomes, in a sense, I feel, and I feel that if you don't understand the why, how, and what of a brand, how can you do anything? I mean, because I mean, where is the long-term goal? I feel if I don't have that, having been in schools that was very meticulous, the management of these brands, yeah, I feel a little bit like a captain without a shipping route. Where am I bringing this ship? You know, I don't know in which port. And so I advocate, this is my approach, and I have seen this happen over and over and again in startups in particular. There is a very important book in startups which is called the Lean Startup, and was written by this gentleman, Eric Ries. A few years back, all the kids in the startups were talking about this book. Now it's probably passé. But this book, essentially, the gentleman was a successful entrepreneur, multi-self-entrepreneur, and he wanted to understand why specific entrepreneurs are serial successful and others are not. And that was a very interesting question. So he studied several of them, and for quite a number of years, 5 years, I think, if I well remember. Excuse me, I read the book a few years back. And the conclusion was that he nailed the fact that the successful entrepreneurs do not mix two hypotheses. One is the value hypothesis. The second is the growth hypothesis. If you start mixing the two, you never know what is what. So the successful entrepreneur, first, that correct focus on the value hypothesis, as to say, do I have value in this market? What kind of a problem am I trying to solve? I mean, you have to identify the problem. Yeah, I mean, what is your contribution to this? Once you understand that there is some kind of a synergy there, then, and you sold the first one, then you can start, okay, how do I sell more now? How do I market more? If you confuse the two, you never know. because you have too many variables and that confuses you. This is a very precious advice for all of us, yeah, because you have to, I mean, I myself, I was in management I did 3 years of schooling, practically, certification, yeah. Then I went out on the market and I have to charge 65 euros an hour. I have to pay 50% of that in taxes. Plus I have to buy 2 extra insurances if they come to my studio and things. It's 20 euros an hour. I mean, why? I mean, I have a master's, I studied. So that's why this, with my colleagues.
Uh-oh,
Uh-oh.
he froze.
Everybody else
Hopefully
is here.
he'll come right back.
He'll come back. I see Kisha. I see everyone else is live.
Yeah,
And
we're
also
good.
with the
Oh, here he
15.
is.
So I was at a crossroad after the certification. I said, how can I help the most for the restoration? And I said, okay, let me help the many. And that's why
Uh-oh.
I now
You're occasionally
I
freezing.
have my main. I am.
Yeah, okay. Can you just rewind just a little bit there? What you were?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I was at a
You
crossroad.
helped the collective. We were understanding that you wanted to help the collective, so just take it from there.
Marketing is my way to help now. I can help the many that way, and that's what I feel. So if you need help, if you have a good idea, if you're an inventor, if you need somebody to counter your ideas, to talk to a marketing guy, because we tend to see the world sometimes differently, please contact me. I am available. I'm your friend, and I would love to co-create with you.
Marcello, thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you. Very informative. And I'm sure you'll get a lot of contacts from people at CHWE, CARE, UNN, and things like that. Thank you.
I had the same question that you asked, so I'm glad that he covered that. So thank you.
One final comment, please.
Mm-hmm.
On my presentation, Healers of the World, you have 4 sources which are very important. Yeah, they're all in my presentation. These are excellent global statistics at a country level. You can find out, for example, in some countries, the burnout rate and what it's very specific per England, and really pinpoint your value hypothesis testing.
I love it. And please post all of your information below when we post this chat on the website and on CHWE and Telegram. Kelly.
Yeah. Hey, hi. We have to thank you, Marcello. I want to say thank you. I really appreciate you. And I'll be contacting you about my brand soon. But I've just have some things on paper right now. But we're going to move along. And today we have Kisha Beth, and then we have Kareen, and also Jared. And he's in. Yeah, is Jared there? Yeah. And they are with REEFS, which is Restorative Education and Enterprise for Family Sovereignty. Okay, and so I'm going to start the questions off with Kisha, because I know a little bit about how this all came about. But Kisha, so what is REEFS all about, and how did it come about?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I couldn't
hear.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, it's like, what is REEFS about, and how did it come about?
Okay, well, our mission statement is to provide us all the opportunity to freely, easily, and collaboratively earn and learn together, uplifting everyone to embody their passions and live happy, healthy lives in abundance. So that's our mission statement. And where it started was Kim gave the call for us all to start groups and follow our passions and to make things happen. And Sonny's always saying, if it's going to be, it's up to me. So my heart was pounding. I was thinking, oh, I need to set something up for how I envision education. And so I was, right, restoration education, and I spoke to you, Kelly, and you advised go for it, Keisha. So I did, and lots of people joined, and we had our first meeting, to which the lovely Kareen came. She did her homework because I set homework. Yeah, so that's kind of what it's about, and how it came about.
And so my next question then is, thank you. That is for Kareen. And how would you describe the collaboration within REEFS?
Well, first off, we have 5 admins currently in our team. So I'll just name it by name. So we have Kate, we have Kisha Beth that is present with us today, Kate, Christopher, Jared, and I. And I noticed 2 major things as I was experiencing our collaboration. The first thing that I've noticed is that we've done enough individually, we've done enough work within ourselves to really nurture this dynamic balance between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So that shows really well when we collaborate together. And it's also, as a quick aside, this is also a really important topic that we want to cover in our future project called Sacred Intimacy. So I want to give you an example of what I mean so that it can be more concretely envisioned for every one of your viewers here. We've come together as a team. So when Kate came to us, she was expressing the desire to share her healing modality within the care space. And we managed to facilitate for her so far to share her TAT, which is her modality, her healing modality that she's been trained in. We've been able to facilitate for her to share it in 3 separate meetings. And the latest meeting where she shared it was during a special solar eclipse activation, I would say, a meeting where to really process the energies. So she did a special live TAT session, and Christopher, who hosted the meeting for the first time, he invited Deborah May to do the intention setting. So that's, and I'm really proud of this, because whenever she comes in and she guides us to a healing modality, and this was the latest one especially, I just felt safe and free to just sit back and experience and receive the healing. Whereas a lot of the time, as you know already, Kelly, I tend to be, I'm working a lot to help direct, organize, I helped really to do the group human design reading and all that. But in that special occasion, that dual event actually for the solar eclipse, I was really feeling great. I just sitting back, be of support in the background, and let them run the show. And the second main thing that I've observed is that we are free to play to our strengths, and we support ourselves, each other, to really do that. And I truly appreciate this very much. I'm very grateful for this.
Well, I can appreciate what you all are doing, and I was grateful to attend the TATS, one of the TATS meetings, as well as the human design, and they were both really good. And I really like what you're doing with the REEFS too. So I encourage anybody that hasn't joined to click on join the group, and we'll have that posted too. And so sorry.
No, I would like to make a short testimonial in favor of Kareen. I worked with her on a campaign, and she's fantastic and very diligent. So
yeah,
that's what I want to say.
Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. I mean, we've kind of, what we're working towards is to have is learning in the golden age.
Yeah, no, I said if I had a marketing team again, I want to have Kareen on it. She mind maps everything.
Absolutely amazing. And so the vision that we kind of have is to kind of have in terms of what we want to provide in order to deliver what we want to deliver, is an online service and also a community center as well. So people can really you can go to the community center, for an example. You've already booked what classes you want, and you sort of go as as a family, whatever that family is, be it whatever stage of life that's at. And you can have like caring, there's sensory areas, there's somewhere where you can develop your product design, where you can learn high skills, there's science laboratories, there's farming skills, there's music studios, film studios, you can go and get your hair done. And at the center, or an exercise, and then at the center there's primary water, like swimming area, paddling area for everyone to kind of to enjoy whenever, and food serving, and all of the food is kind of grown internally, because you have a whole lot of aquaponic systems within it, and it's all covered in a big kind of dome. So you have nature. It's a big nature thing. So no closed buildings except for the separate classrooms around the outside. So we've got quite an exciting vision for a community centre that involves health, that involves trade. So you can take all the things that you for retail that you've made as a family. Marcello, it's wonderful to meet you, because I would love you to come and speak on one of our REEFS meetings, because one of the things that I mean, let me just tell you a bit about myself. I was brought up in a little village. I'm 3 of 5 daughters from self-sufficiency enthusiasts, and we had a goat farm, and I attended the local school, and I just didn't really engage with school particularly, and I was more involved with just being in nature, and then I set up a community group. I studied community arts, creative arts, became a teacher, studied I taught music and drama. Didn't enjoy the whole school thing, and just felt frustrated because I couldn't, here I was teaching things, and I couldn't teach things that were real. And children have to sit, and I have 6 children, and my children have to sit at school and learn things.
Can I say something?
Yes, sure.
When you were talking, I was thinking of Steve Jobs. For those who think differently, you definitely think different.
Absolutely. But our children have to waste their life, their childhood, when they should be learning how to connect with source, learning how to listen to their body's intelligence. And that's where they have to
I'm
start.
in total agreement. I was just saying that, I mean, I think he had you in mind when he had.
Hey, Marcello, let's give Kisha Beth a chance to talk.
big picture person for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
so bringing it back. So what determines the direction that you are going with REEFS? So
the group, all of us, and it's all of us speaking, and we're none of us claim to have all the answers. We're all on our journeys, and we're all humbly, authentically showing up, and just saying, sharing our experience, sharing how things resonate with us authentically, and we're growing as well through this whole process, so where we're going is up to all of us, where we're going to take this.
Kisha, can I ask a question? A difficult question. A very difficult question, because I mean, like 68%, listen to this statistic, 68% of employees globally would much rather speak to a robot, AI, than with their own manager. Global statistic. 80% of them will not mind engaging with a robot, AI counselor. So that imposes a huge question: what is the role of management? Yeah, can management bridge the gap to holistic and going in that direction? And also poses the question about organizational structures, because when we talk about non-organizational leadership, that's what we are talking about. It's a very, very difficult subject. What is your take on it? How do you see things moving?
With what in particular? With with what specifically?
For example, the organization of this center, for example, how is it going to be organized? Who is going to lead it? What is the decision-making process there?
The decision-making process, yeah, okay. The decision-making process is takes place within the team. So we within the admin team, and we get suggestions, and we have real openness, transparency within the chat as well. And so people are coming forward when they see things that resonate with them within the chat, and they're coming forward. And we have such incredible people in the chat, absolutely amazing skills, and we also. And some people haven't stepped forward before. We're in a completely new time. Now we're creating something completely new here. So you don't have to have qualifications and experience in past things. That's irrelevant. So what we do as a team is bring people from the chat and guide them through to. So last night, for an example, how many hours was it, Kareen, that we were on a meeting? I think it was a couple of nearly 3 hours, I think, wasn't it? We're on a meeting supporting somebody from the chat.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, to be able to deliver something, because they have incredible knowledge and wisdom, and it's just helping them to be able to present it. So we're there to support our people, because we need to create resources for people to learn. We need to, the community center and the space will be a separate project, but on the online stuff, we've got to create completely new resources where science actually is about science. We're teaching about the body, we understand the electrical nature. When we're teaching about art, we understand sacred geometry. When we're talking about music, we're talking about frequency, and we're understanding about water and the intelligence of water, and the fact that we're mostly made of water. So why waste children's time learning things they've just got to unlearn? And they're bored and they're not having fun, because the key thing to happy life is a sense of playfulness and fun. And it breaks my heart seeing all these children suffering and families breaking up and all the suffering that happens because people haven't learned the key skill of listening to their own body's intelligence. So that's what we're not here to dictate to anybody about how they should live their lives, or what is the right way, or what is that. It's understanding we're making something completely new, and we have got to be true, got to show up and understand, as Kim says, that our cup is not full. We don't know everything already. There's a lot of new stuff that has got to come in. So that's where our future is headed. It's up to us.
Can I comment, Ms. Kisha? Can I comment? This is Ginger. Can I make a comment?
Yes, of course you can, Ginger. Hi.
How y'all doing today? I was listening to Marcello talking about how people sometimes would rather speak to an AI versus an actual person. But I actually realized that some places you're right. You know what I'm saying? Even with kids sometimes. But the thing is, we as a people, knowing now that we have our own sovereignty, we got to be willing to listen to someone to allow them to lead us, another person.
Without
sometimes
judgment.
that's not
That's
easy.
why people want to.
Hold on, Marcello. Hold on,
It's
Marcello.
all about the judgment. It's all about the judgment. That's
Yeah.
exactly. I studied this. I've studied why people want to be who they are. I'm the same kind of way. I for many years, I've also thought, I'd much rather talk to a bot than somebody that's the authority figure. That's
and we're talking about toxic people and toxic leaders. I believe, I've had toxic leaders and leaders I do want to talk to over an AI bot.
I mean, this, I have a study, when I read it, I couldn't believe it. 68% global poll.
I'm not surprised.
And then 80%. But, as having been a manager for 30 years, I've listened to the talk that I had with myself. Is I went through management school. We didn't talk about holistic. There was no soul. It was like the carrot and the stick, in a sense. It was Pavlovian system: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, productivity, results. When you go and now look, and I have been in situations in my life professionally, I wish I had the trainings I had now to be able to help the person, because I was helpless. I mean, I did everything I could. The one-on-one, the development plans, the education plans, the 360s, the performance of you name it, a 70-30 plan, 80-20, all kinds of plans. But you got to a level that you cannot go in the emotions of the person. Now, the big question that I raise is the following, that I was asking myself. I am human. okay, I'm not perfectly in touch with my emotions, but do I, as a human, know my emotions and the ones of my fellow man better than an AI system? I mean, we are delegating to an AI system the dealing of the emotions on a massive scale, and these are global numbers of employees.
That's because
Marcello, I
emotions.
appreciate your comments, Marcello. I would just want to give these ladies time to talk.
Yeah.
I've got to plug in too, guys, so I'm going to go off camera while I'm moving around. But is Jared here? Is he on with us?
I don't see Jared.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to ask then one last question, and continue to ask. And that's oh, wait a minute, I already asked that question. I think we're good.
Well,
I think we're.
Well,
Is there
Kareen
anything
and
you'd like to
Kisha,
add?
what else would you
Yeah.
like to add to what you've already shared?
There we go.
Well, I want to add that at REEFS, what we want is for family to live happy, abundant lives, creating businesses to earn and learn together, to develop their skills and freely develop their passions. This is what it's all about. You know, creating a community center is really towards that. This is our aim. This is what we aim. This is what we want to see. And creating an online and offline network of this, because we start with one, we can create a network of brick and mortar community centers all over the world. And on a personal note, why for me this is personally something that I'm so involved with, it's because when I was younger, for about 15 years or even maybe closer to 20 years, I've lived next to a library and a park. So this is, you know, this was of course somewhere a communal space, and it has really impacted my life quite greatly. On positive, there were benefits of that, but there were also this communal space was also used for not so great purposes as well. So we are now in the light age. So we have this is a blank slate, if you'd like, where we have the support of Source, we have our amazing ground command, and all our allies are here, and they are very intent on the Earth being the new Earth, where, you know, it's the light age. So here we go. Let's do it. Let's let our families shine as sovereignly, and have individuals who are sovereign, and, you know, upward and onwards. And that's it.
I love that.
That's
Can I
wonderful.
ask a quick question, Ms. Kareen? I did come in late and I apologize for that. But I do have a question. I heard you say about the community space and about, you know, actually I wanted to say I love to read. You know what I'm saying? I love the feel of an actual book versus reading online. You know what I'm saying? That's rare nowadays. But what I was gonna say was, how do you, like, I have a 3-year-old, and I'm trying to I have a 12-year-old too. He's in homeschool online, but I'm trying to incorporate more learning about nature, you know what I'm saying, sustainability, because I'm growing a garden and I want to incorporate my children into that. How do I do that? I mean, how do I add that upon what he's already got going on? You know what I'm saying? You know, because everything's so indoctrinated, and I want to give him more. I want to give my kids more. You know, I want to do something different. I'm tired of the everyday same thing all the time. I'm really tired of that, and I want more.
Kisha Beth, why don't you come on, unmute yourself.
Keisha, unmute. Mhm.
Oh yeah, I'm just resonating there with you. I mean, like, absolutely, this is my passion. I have got 6 children. I'm homeschooling 3. I have 3 at home.
Look, I'm
and
pregnant with the 6 right now, so that's why I'm like, I gotta do something different. I need.
Oh yeah, I
something more,
homeschooled
and I'm so
4.
glad
I
came
know
on
what
here.
you're talking about.
wow, and it's just this is why And we can't give them all the opportunities that they need to shine and to find their passions. And this is what motivates me to kind of really give them something so that they can live happy, abundant lives, you know, and we don't know what the future will look like. How can you train and prepare somebody for a future we've no idea of? Let's prepare them for a future that's a golden age and that is wonderful. Let's not give them all the crap. You know, that's just, it's trauma. That's so old school.
I just want to add something to this, is that we lead by example. Before we think of changing our children, change yourself. Your children will do what you do. Even when they are different, even when they're criticizing you. I know, because I had to go through this process myself and I had to work on it. If you want your children to act differently, change yourself. So we see a lot of parents right now on their phones, and the kids, they follow that.
You are so right. I'm trying to get them away from the phone. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to do something else.
Yeah. So, and I know this is tough. I know this is tough. We all are logged in right now. So,
right.
So you first, you do that. And honestly, it is an addiction. Let's be real. It is an addiction. We all have our phones. We for a lot of us, if we don't, like, it's even most important than our keys, is we panic if we don't have our phones with us when we go outside. So first, you know, let's get on with it and get off the phones, tackle the cell phone addiction, the internet online addiction. And I think as well that I'm not criticizing the internet. Like, we wouldn't know each other if we didn't have the internet and online. So we can start with meeting each other online and move it offline. Find ways to do so, especially because since we are now in the light age, we have, like I said, we have beautiful allies on planet and off planet. Soon we'll have the technology to really easily do this, to really have the transport, the technology, the faster stuff. But we've got to tackle then what's here, what's here, you know, consciousness and stuff to really effectively use tech to our benefit.
I love it. I'd like to officially open it up for everyone to ask questions. We already have been popcorning, but come online, everybody. Anything you guys want to say for the rest of the hour?
I was just going to say what Kareen was saying. You know, we need to take everything and create these centers. That's why the centers are so important. We've got to learn how to socialize again, and we have to pay attention to what many will term the neurodivergent, or people that are autistic and on the spectrum, because there's so many of those, and there's so many of those in tech as well, of course, and they really are the ones that are kind of
and they're so talented.
Yeah, absolutely. But they would choose to talk to a bot than they would a real person, and that's because the interactions with human beings have not been positive. You know, we have to teach people how to be tolerant of people in societal settings, you know, and know how to be there for somebody, say if they are having a meltdown or something. There's nothing more strange than watching an adult, you know, mature male even, you know, having an autistic meltdown. But, you know, sometimes those are things I have to deal with in public, because it's within my family. And so this is, I'm learning too, as I'm speaking, what I can do to help you guys too, because I can maybe help bring that into, you know, we can, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say a comment. I mean, I think that these numbers are pretty solid. I looked at the representative sample globally, and I kind of think that it's close to accurate, yeah.
And the younger generation too. I mean, like my 30-year-old soldiers, I was in the military, they all rather do it online, everything, where I'd rather talk to a person. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, the big ethical question is what input goes in these large language models, yeah, which are the base of these AI programs, essentially, yeah, because if you have garbage in, you have garbage out, yeah. So I mean, I think the key challenge is going to be, I don't think that we'll be able to stop this direction, momentum, unless the alpha system can help us. Is the only one that I can think that can help us on this dimension. So because, I mean, because we're looking at, if we are not careful, the obliteration of natural medicine, if we are not careful. Because if you don't put it in, you won't be. So, I mean, it's a lot of questions. And what is the content that is put in this language, large models that will advise, counsel these millions of people? I mean, that's a question. I don't have an answer for you, but or that's option A, or maybe we have to do both, or we have a huge education gap here. Huge education gap.
Can I make a comment on what you just said, Marcello?
Yeah, please, Ginger, you're here for that. We're all here to talk. Yes.
You were saying natural medicine. I really deal in natural. I'm a vet as well, Miss Liz. So I totally get it. And I have these appointments every month. I have to order my medicine. But just because I order it doesn't mean I have to take it. I can actually say that I have used prescription medicine at least in the last year, because some of the meds that I take, are actually killing me. And so I'm realizing, I have this holistic book. I'm realizing there are so many natural medicines that we can find in our yard that we don't even know about. There are things that we can use to actually help us better than, like, Orajel comes from, they use the main ingredient in Orajel is cloves. You know what I'm saying? There are things that
aspirin, willow bud.
They use natural. They use a lot of natural, things in modern medicine. But the whole thing is we have to break it down and find the actual root of that medicine instead of using what they're giving us, because at the same time they're giving it to us, but they're killing us at the same time, and they know it. They send you things and it says it's side effects. So what are you gonna do? I'd rather have my back hurting. I'd rather be bleeding. I mean, what are we doing here?
Reach out to me, Ginger, if you want to. We can chat. And welcome to the party for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Ginger, your comment is right on. I mean, it's just to give you the idea. I was in Rome doing research recently because I researched on the herbology Italian tradition, yeah, and I found that coming from Chinese traditional medicine, I met this huge professor, and he was telling me a Chinese prescription of herbs has at least 5 herbs, yeah? And he was telling me that's unique. And I remembered, in my neighborhood in Rome, we had an ancient herbalist shop, yeah? And we used to get tisane with 5 or 6 herbs inside. I said, Professor, this is not true, because I have used this stuff, at least with 5 or 6 herbs. And he tells me, oh, I didn't know about that. So I went in Rome and I went in the National Archive, in these herbal shops, tracing the recipe. And I have the photographs and things like that. I even went in the hospital. And so the conclusion is the following of my study is that, for example, sage, the herb sage, yeah? It was classified in Latin 40 BC by Plinius the Elder, essentially, but he was referring to a tradition of the Etruscans and going back to 500 BC. Now, we are still keeping the same terminology, as to say salvia, a sage, is the Latin name that we had 2,000 years ago. And this is not true in China, because the North had one description, the South had one description. So we in the West, because of our Latin tradition, can trace back the prescriptions that have worked for 3 centuries, 4 centuries. And this, I think, is a strength of natural medicine, that we can say, look, for 4 centuries, this has been done like that. And you coming around now since 1910, I mean, you have 100 years of history. I've got centuries of history. And let's have a discussion here. Because, I mean, if we look at what they're doing, essentially the pharma industry, aspirin, for example, they have taken one molecule out of the bark of a special tree, isolated that molecule, redesigned it, and patterned that molecule. That was Bayer. They lost their license and went global and things like that. But, for example, Valium, it comes from the herb valeriana, which has been used for centuries to sleep and to calm and things like that. We have tons of medical material on that. So what the industry did, they took 2 of the 128 molecules, they tweaked them, and they trademarked those 2 molecules, forgetting the 126 that the source has given us to balance the 2 ones. And there was a lady that said, you know, a cure from the garden of God. So, I mean, God has given us everything here to heal ourselves and to prevent. We are in a situation right now that you have to understand, and now I'm talking to the individual entrepreneurs in this sector. You have to understand that when you're competing against a multinational, you're not competing against one person. You're competing against a team of people. You have the product manager, the sales manager, the general manager.
Corporations.
Yeah. So, I mean, this idea gets better and better and better and better because it has the contribution of many. Yeah. We have to learn to do the same with our ideas. We need contribution of many.
Marcello, I love your comments. I want to give opportunity for other folks to speak. We have a few more minutes. Would anybody else like to come on? I see Lawrence. Ginger, you've spoken. Kisha, Kareen, would you like to come back on and make some final comments, thoughts?
Yes, I'd just like to say one thing that is our focus is to bring humanity back to humanity. And I think that's a pretty fantastic aim to have as well, because humanity seems to have lost humanity.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We also have, thank you so much. We have Real News. You want to come on and ask your question, Real News? And why don't you tell us your name too?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. Yeah, my name is Mark.
Hey, Mark.
And hi, how you doing? You know, I've been following Kim for some years now, just kind of off the side. And but I'm a 60-year-old man. I live in Florida. I'm a kind of a retired software architect. I worked on some pretty interesting systems in my day. Are you guys familiar with like the title insurance company, First American Title Insurance Company? Anyways, I built some systems for them. And I've been spending several years, maybe the last 20 years, you know, plotting and thinking about, you know, how do we address, you know, these social problems, you know, and there was 2 very influential people, I think, in if you're going to look at trying to organize and develop, you know, I think these 2 ideas are very important. One of them is Peter Drucker. You know, Peter Drucker is the father of American, you know, business management.
Peter Principle. Yeah.
Yeah. And in his later books, there was I remember somebody, or I got this one book called The Daily Drucker, and but it was very interesting because in his last years he began explaining how the governments were, you know, whether they collapsed or not, had not fulfilled the needs of the social fabric, you know, and the needs of the people, because the effect of what's going on is if in your mind's eye you could picture, you know, like a 55-gallon barrel full of paper clips, and you have a magnet in your hand, and you drop that magnet on the paper clips, and then you pull your hand up, right? All the paper clips that are part of this spike, you know, are really what's benefiting from the system or the change. The rest are just floundering, right? Trying to figure out, well, what does this change mean, right? We listen to TV. Oh, I'm supposed to wear a mask now. Oh, I'm supposed to go get the shots now, you know, because we talked about, and I think I heard in this conversation, you know, that we're lacking a leadership or a direction. And And so anyways, Peter Drucker had come to understand that this was already going to happen. And he laid out a framework for developing kind of a patchwork that kind of brings together, private money and the government monies, whatever they have, to replace what the government has put in place with something that actually works and can be accountable and can be managed, right? Unlike what we have today, which is just made up of cronyism and criminals, managing these social programs. Another one that I think is very influential, and it's a gentleman that I had what a blessing to even get to meet him, right? But I used to spend time with Chandler Barton, and he's the man who created Coldwell Banker. And that the franchising mechanism, where you centralize certain things and it pushes things up. Because I can tell you one thing: if you move into any space of creating something or taking an idea and trying to implement it, it's like I hear all these great ideas, and the first thing after I listen to this great idea is like, okay, well, who's going to run it? Who's going to own that? Who's going to get up every day and work that idea? You know, everybody's got all these great ideas and everybody's got great intentions. But I remind you that the road to hell is paved with good intention. And so, what we have to find is we have to find what works, and we have to implement that. It's like a friend of mine and I were in a restaurant one time. And this gentleman, it was a new Iranian restaurant or Persian restaurant, and this guy had a wonderful menu. But my friend brought up a point. He's like, have you paid attention to what Halal Guys is doing? I mean, you just opened this restaurant. You have an incredible menu, but have you seen what the Halal Guys is doing? I mean, they've got lines around the block. And he told him, he's like, what you got to do is you got to do what works. He goes, look at hamburgers, right? Who was it? A&W, then McDonald's, then Wendy's, then Carl's Jr., Jack in the Box. But they're all doing what works, right? And that's where you start. And I would highly recommend that whatever you compose or whatever gets developed, takes into account, it's these types of organisms, anyways, and then I would also like to know how this group is organized in order to be able to contribute ideas, because I do have written plans over the last 20 years that I've been working on these problems of how I think we could organize to address some of these, and in fact begin to organize in conjunction with the cities or the municipalities. For example, you're talking about these community centers. Well, a lot of community centers are there, they're just mismanaged. Or even the high schools at night are open. We could be teaching we could be teaching food services and have community involvement and things going, where we're taking EBT, and there's all these different things that we could be doing, all these different programs, and kind of contributing back to whatever already exists, rather than trying to, go find land, get buildings and then get all these people to own it, and so anyways, that's just some thoughts too.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. I recommend you reach out to these three folks and get together and work out. I'll say on the one hand, I'm going to let Kelly finish up, but on the one hand, we don't know what Kim and the CARE program really is. We don't know what it is. We don't know what the plan is. On the other hand, we've been tasked to, as Kisha Beth reminded us, it's up to us. So it is important that we come up with plans, not to control the world and redo the assemblies. You might not be familiar with assemblies, Mark, but
yes, of course, I'm in Florida Assembly, or was.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, thank you. And so, but we don't want to recreate that. We don't want to try to organize the world, but like Marcello has offered helps, and organization helps. And these two, Kisha Beth and Kareen, have offered helps. So we don't know what's going to happen, but we're working on our own. We're moving forward. Even my own small business, I'm moving forward. So I just recommend that you guys all get together and chat and, make the sausage or vegetarian sausage, whatever.
Right.
Kelly,
Just
come on.
I want to know where that forum is where we can begin having that
Oh, yeah,
conversation.
they'll tell us.
How I could contribute.
Why don't one of you guys put it in the chat right now what the Telegram is,
Yeah.
or cut and paste, and also put it below the comments when we post it on CHWE, okay?
Yeah.
How do I see that chat? I'm not so
Oh, yeah, if you look
familiar.
down at the screen, it's full screen, you'll see the chat. You might have to click more to see the chat, but is someone capable? I'm not on REEFS, I haven't joined you guys yet. Can someone cut and paste the chat, Kelly, the REEFS Telegram channel, or?
Yes, I'm on it.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
good, thank you.
I was gonna go.
Lawrence, what you got?
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Lawrence.
Beautiful. Hi. Cool. I'm just listening to everything, man, and it's just one of those explanations that where you if it's gonna be, it's up to me. And like, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? I know a lot of people say it, but what does it mean? And to me, I think the clarification on it is that if it's going to be, it's up to me. And I think that's just part of the patience structure that I think we need to just relax and just work on our shadow work and work on raising our vibration. And that's going to enable us to step into our power. And then once we achieve that, we'll be able to do anything and everything, So I think it's just important just to be patient and just work on ourselves and raise our vibration and dismantle all these programs that have us reacting a certain way and stuff, and just work on ourselves. And like someone else said earlier, if you want it, you got to lead by example and just be that beacon of light. You know what I mean? And just be patient with the process, and everything's gonna be fine, man. Just work on yourself, and that's part of. It's up to me, you know what I mean? As I got to work on myself so I can be, you know what I mean, that beacon, concept. So just sending love and light to everybody,
Yeah, I see it as a both and. Like, of course, do our shadow work. It's important to our personal work, but also it's good to come together in community. Kisha, and I'll let you be the final comment if you don't mind.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to quickly share that I was doing some gardening recently, hence my gardening hands, ripped up hands. And whilst I was doing it, I was cutting back a lot of brambles and my hands were being shredded up. And I was reminded of the story of Sleeping Beauty and how actually we have to be our own Prince Charming to come and cut down the brambles. And the brambles represent the triggers. So exactly like you said, we have to deal with our shadow work, the triggers that we have from our past programming. Be our own Prince Charming to wake the Sleeping Beauty within.
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. I love it.
Well, there's a great momentum that's already been started here. And I think we can all just build on that, and support each other in the process. And I appreciate everyone for coming on and joining us. I'm sorry I've had to be offline. I had to come into the house and occasionally run around. My dad's back, and so yeah. Anyway, you all have a wonderful day, and let's stay in touch. Did you get the information on the chat?
We did, and I have cut and pasted to our admin chat, so we have it. And so make sure, I'll remind you again when we post it. I'm going to post as soonish. I have some work to do too. I'll post it when I can, and then please, when you see it on CHWE, Marcello, Kareen, Kisha Beth, thank you so much. Please post your information down below.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you. Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. We want to have everybody. We just love it. That's our job. Not gatekeepers. We just like supporting. Take care, everybody. Blessings. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Happy Friday.
And know you are loved. Bye-bye.